I'm Tracy Koch, and I'm going to be your instructor for this semester. So I've created a little bit of a PowerPoint and voiceover to help you become acquainted with the course. I know that there's a lot of information in the syllabus and on the Blackboard page, so hopefully this will help sort of allay some anxieties and help you kind of understand what requirements are within this course and what we have to do in order to complete the course. The course is a practicum class, so it is requiring clinical hours. The total number of clinical hours for a 2-credit class is 90 hours. And those 90 hours are broken up, and you can see in your syllabus how those are designated, but I'll go through that a little bit for you as well. There is a clinical component, which are physical kind of boots on the ground, if you will, hours that are necessary in order to complete the class. You will have to do 32 hours in a community partnership setting. This is like a public health department. If you work for Kootenai Health, you will be put in some of their outpatient clinics where they do community outreach. A community health center like Heritage Health, a parish church, a school, a parish clinic, or a school working with a school nurse. We used to allow students to go into corrections facilities, but that really took most of the semester to even get the credentialing, so it really wasn't worth the effort. However, there are a lot of interesting spots out there, so if you have somewhere in mind, please email me and let me know where you would like to go. Most of the students in my section are placed with school nurses, so just kind of keep that in mind. If you've already talked to me about placement, no need to re-email me. I've already got that information. So 14 hours are in service learning. In service learning, those hours are volunteer hours. You can choose wherever you would like to volunteer. It just has to be with human beings. You can't volunteer at an animal shelter. So a library, a church, a school, a daycare, a senior center, Meals on Wheels. Oftentimes communities will have an organized day where they will seek out volunteers, and certainly those kinds of days count. There was a Convoy of Hope a couple years ago, and students really were able to dig in and do a lot of volunteer hours in that setting. And your community assessment project will be about 26 hours of between surveys and driving through the communities and meeting with your groups if you're in a group. So that will take about 26 hours with that project. Other hours that count towards the 90 hours are online disaster planning modules, your evaluations and journaling for your community partnership and your service learning, and also some of the community assessment project overlap, and the roundtable book discussion, which is outlined in your syllabus. The orientation is where you start on the Blackboard page. There's a quiz and a posting on the discussion board, so please do the discussion board posting in a timely manner so we can give you your credit for attendance, and it might affect your financial aid. Then we try to set up your clinical partnership hours, and I will help you facilitate that. If you, again, have a place that you want to go, please get in touch with me. Otherwise, I will look at where you live. Hopefully you include that in your introduction post, and we can figure out a nice spot for you that will work into your lifestyle. You also can arrange your service learning hours at this time. As far as service learning hours go, if you have a regular volunteering commitment throughout the semester that you do, so let's say every Thursday you work at the library at your child's school, we can count that. Just get in touch with me and I'll make sure that we meet the course objectives or the course competencies, and if that's applicable, we'll let you do that. If you're going to work in a group for your community assessment project, which I highly recommend, now is a good time to form that group and set up your maybe identify a community or think about what sort of project you would like to do. The community assessment project is very detailed and laid out on the Blackboard page. However, it can be overwhelming to look at all that information. So in a nutshell, your community assessment project is where you look at a certain community. So let's say you take the community of Coeur d'Alene. and you look at the geographic boundaries, you look at the population, you do an in-depth analysis of that community and identify any health risks or diagnoses as a community health nurse that you see evident in that community, and what interventions might be used to improve the health of the overall community. Now, Coeur d'Alene is a huge community, so you may not want to use something that large. Students in the past have used communities such as retirement communities, so if there is an assisted living situation, you could use that as a community. You can use a population, like the homeless population, as your community. There's a lot of different ways to look at community, so keep that in mind when identifying your particular community for your project. You also want to identify a community that you're going to be able to really take an in-depth look at and survey. So using a pediatric community is not recommended because you have to get parental permission for surveys, and then we have to apply to IRB, and it really gets kind of complicated. So we ask that you work just with adults for the project that we have in this course. You then will do your surveys and identify your diagnoses, if you will, for that community, and set up your assessment and interventions and how you would evaluate those. You can do this in the form of a written APA scholarly paper. You can do a video. You can do a PowerPoint. You can think outside the box. We had a group of students one year did the Native American community in Plummer, and they did this beautiful online learning module that was just incredible. So certainly know that you have a lot of creative leeway, and we are happy to help facilitate that in any way we can. So again, communication is key, so just let me know what you're thinking and what direction you would like to take. Also in this course, we have a roundtable book discussion, which there are 2 book selections, and you can choose one. You read the book, and there's a discussion, and you reply to each other's posts. And I've read both books, so I'll participate in both discussions as well. You can sign up on the under groups on the Blackboard page and pick whichever group you'd like to do. I would like to have an even number, if I can, of people in each group, but if you've already read one of the books or you don't want to read a certain book, that's fine. We can make it work. This is a pass-fail class. However, you must complete all of your clinical hours and assignments in order to earn a passing grade. So if you don't turn in your evaluations, or you don't complete the entire community assessment project, or you don't turn in your journals, we can't pass you in the class. We need all of the components in order to give you a passing grade. Again, communication is the key to success for online courses, so my email is tacoke@lcsc.edu. I also put my mobile phone number there. I'm in the office 2 to 3 days a week. I also work in a clinic a day a week, so it can be hard for us to connect between our schedules. Know that you can use my mobile phone number. You can call me or text me if you don't have a chance to get to your email, if you have any questions. We can certainly meet up face-to-face. I love to do that with students, and I try to do site visits when you're out in your clinical setting, so I will try to connect with you that way. If not, we can always talk over the phone also. Lastly, occasionally I will get notes from school nurses soliciting help for certain screening activities, like a scoliosis clinic or vision screening clinic. Typically it's with the Post Falls School District, but I will put those announcements out there, and anybody in the course can use that as their service learning hours. So if 4 people decide they want to go to a vision screening and help the school nurses, even if that's not your clinical partnership setting, we can arrange that, and you're more than welcome to do some of your hours that way. It's a great way to build community, no pun intended, and it's a great way to meet your fellow students that you maybe don't get to see face to face. So it's I will put those announcements out as they come to me. Well, good luck, and let me know if you have any questions or any concerns, and let's have a great semester.